In this short video, we'll be discussing complex sentences, specifically complex sentences that show time order. What is a complex sentence? Complex sentence is a sentence composed of one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. If you're not sure what independent clause and dependent clause is, make sure you review that before you move on. So the independent clause is connected to the dependent clause by a subordinating conjunction, also known as a subordinator. Here's an example sentence. The students went to the library as soon as the class finished. So the independent clause is the students went to the library, and the dependent clause is as soon as the class finished. This is the same sentence, but with the dependent clause in the front. What is a subordinating conjunction? Subordinating conjunction is a word that connects an independent clause to the dependent clause. So these are some common examples: because, when, as soon as, and so on. We're going to be focusing on complex sentences to show time order. So these sentences show the order of events or actions. And we use subordinate conjunctions that show time order in these sentences. So we're going to talk about 4 different subordinators: after, when, before, and as soon as. So we use after with the action or event that happened first in the sentence. So for example, after the students studied, they went to class. So the first action is the students studied. The second action is they went to class. We can also write this sentence this way: the students went to class after they studied, but the meaning is still the same. The first action is they studied. The second action is that they went to class. We use when with the action or event that happened first. So for example, when the students finished the test, they went home. First action is they finished the test. Second action is they went home. And again, we can rewrite this sentence with the independent clause first and the dependent clause second, and the meaning is still the same. We use before with the action or event that happened second. So before is used a little bit differently from after and when. So for example, before the students took the test, they studied. The first action in this sentence is they studied, or the students studied. The second action is they took the test. We can also write it like this: the students studied before they took the test. As soon as is also a subordinator used to show time order. We use as soon as with the first action or event to show that the second action or event happened soon after. So for example, as soon as the student arrived home, he ate dinner. So the first action is the student arrived at home, and then right after that, the second action happened: he ate dinner. And just as the others, we can write the sentence like this: the student ate dinner as soon as he arrived home. And the order of events is the same, whether you put the independent clause first or the dependent clause first. When we punctuate complex sentences, sometimes we use a comma, but the rules are very specific. If the dependent clause is at the end of the sentence, do not use a comma. So for example, the students went home after they finished the test. We have the dependent clause after they finished the exam. No comma here. However, if the dependent clause is at the beginning of the sentence, we do use a comma after the dependent clause. So for example, using the same sentence as above, after the students finished the exam, we have the dependent clause first, comma, they went home. So we only use the comma when the dependent clause is at the beginning of the sentence.